Hello and good morning. Welcome to Stamp and Chat. I'm just going to check that I'm live in the right place. It's always a good place to start. You never can tell when you hop onto Facebook whether you are in the right place. And nothing is loading. Somebody is here, so that's a good sign. Okay, all is good, all is good. Good morning and welcome to the Simply Pretty studio. If you are scrolling Facebook and I've popped up, I am Kerry Timms. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and today I'm going to be creating 3 cards for you, combining 2 kind of newish stamp sets. One is sort of Christmassy, one non-Christmassy. So who is joining us this morning? It is super hot in the studio. I've got windows open, the Velux are open. I've got the fan on, probably more for Alfie because it's so hot. I think it's almost 27 degrees in here. And it's obviously very well insulated because it's just super warm. So I've got the fan kind of down on my feet where the little man likes to lie when I'm crafting. So I'm sure he's got a nice breeze on him. So how are we all doing? Good morning, Lucianne. How are you? Strange kind of weather today. It's still really muggy. There's the air is so warm, but there's no sunshine. And I think it is going to be a bit of a cloudy day today, which is totally fine. I used to be, those of you that know me well, those of you that I've been on the Stampin' Up incentive trips with will know what a sun worshipper I used to be. But I've kind of stepped back from sitting in the sun. Very rarely sit in the sun now. I have little 10-minute bursts. My coffee breaks, I try and get a bit of sunlight, a bit of vitamin D. Good morning, Jenny. How are you doing? And obviously when I'm gardening, I'm in the sun, but well protected with sunscreen. But yeah, I've got that kind of skin that sort of tans really easily. I'm quite lucky, very rarely burn. But Sophie had a bit of a scare with melanoma, and it really made me think about how much I used to sit in the sun. I became quite obsessed with it really, which is a bit stupid, but like whenever, if we're away and we were in a queue and there was shade and there was sunlight, I would be in the sunlight, Jason would be in the shade. So, but yeah, I've kind of totally changed. And to be honest, I don't really have time to sit around lounging in the garden anymore. There is just too much going on. So I do get my bit of sun. Having vitamin D is important for all of us. But yeah, you need to stay out of it when it's peak times. So this morning, I am playing with Vintage Christmas and Bottled Happiness. So if you saw my post earlier, you will have seen a little preview of those 2 stamp sets. So I think without further ado, because I've got 3, I want to create 3 cards for you today. So I think I'm going to set you down onto my desk, move everything out of the way, and breathe for a minute. I've been like racing around this morning, always awake at the crack of dawn. And just always the last final things to get ready for a Facebook Live is making sure, you know, everything is in place, and then you can kind of like, I'm here. If something isn't ready now, it really doesn't matter. We will solve that problem when we get to it. So let's stop waffling, Kerry. Get you down onto my desk. Hope that the MacBook and Facebook doesn't throw me out. Let's get some light on. Wait for that catch up. And see whether we need to zoom in a bit more. Quite possibly. Let's just tilt that a little bit. When the phone isn't completely straight in the holder, doesn't really help. Okay, that might have been just a way bit too much. So let's go back out. Let's get some tape, get this grid paper down. Hope you all had a fabulous weekend. Here in the UK, we've been having like a little bit of a heat wave, and it's been extremely hot. It's going to be hot all week, and I think at the weekend and Monday, it's going to be incredibly hot. In fact, they've issued health warnings to kind of stay indoors, stay out of that sun. And I think we all underestimate what heat can do to us. So you must be very careful. You must stay hydrated. Okay, so I adore the bottle tab. I adore everything. You know, there's no joke about that, is there? You know, I just love it all. The bottled happiness, it was on my wish list, but wasn't at the top of my list. There were so many other things I wanted to get before this, and I've not had it long, but I absolutely love it. And when we had the release of the mini catalogue, so the July to December, inside there was Vintage Christmas, which of course you can see, co-ordinates, and of course we've got the vintage bottle punch that goes with it as well. And that is on a bundle with the bottled happiness. That's in the annual catalogue. Lucianne, yeah, it's been way too hot. It's hot for the children, isn't it? And if you've got no shade out in the garden, then it's really difficult to kind of know what to do with them, and they get a bit tired and aggravated by the heat, don't they? Don't we all? So on a bundle, the punch and these stamps are just £36. Absolutely love this. Try to think what I shared last week. I know time flies. Oh, what did I do last week? Was it hippos? Yeah. Honestly, the brain. I just cannot remember anything at the moment. So I was thinking, I didn't share this last week, did I? No, but love these. Love these together. And obviously this is predominantly Christmassy because we've got these flowers here, which could be some kind of Christmas flower, but we've got foliage, and we've got these are the centers of the flowers I'm going to use, but you've got little pine cones on there, which makes it very Christmassy. And Lucianne, no, I haven't done yet. They're still in my car. I need to grab them out. How can I set myself a reminder to do that? I'm going to write your name on a piece of paper and put it behind me, so that when I finish my live, I can weigh it for you, because I really just don't know if I'm going to be coming your way. Yeah, so you've got this kind of like bit of fur with some berries on. Obviously, we've got a couple of Christmassy greetings. I'm not a fan of the word Happy Holidays, but I have done things with this stamp set where I've just covered over that with another word. And then we've got these two lovely bottles as well, which are great for masculine cards too. So there we go. So that's what we're using today. I'm hoping I've got everything out already. I've also pulled some foliage from the botanical layers, just this one here, because I wanted to add more foliage in to my projects. Plus, now I feel like I'm showing you a lot, and I don't like to use a lot of product within one share, but I had to pull in this bundle, and literally I'm just using this stamp from this set. This is an awesome bundle. Honestly, it's birthday, it's Christmas, it's celebration. I absolutely adore this. It's £53 as a bundle. You can see all I've used so far is this die. Not had a chance to do anything else with it, this stamp rather. But look at the dies. I think I shared these last week. You've got these gorgeous tags. We've got balloons and candles. We've got snowflakes, a banner. We've got a frame here. This folding like pocket die, which I have got one cut out. I just love this. It's a good all-rounder. So it cuts out this tag, which I've been using individually, but then it folds up into a little pocket. And we were having a play at the weekend at my catalogue launch party, and you can fit a gift card inside there. It's quite tight, but you'd need a bit of ribbon to kind of pull it in and out. So I adore that, absolutely adore. Such a fabulous, you need to get the bundle. I mean, how useful is a banner die like that? So we're going to be using some of those dies, and then, as I've said, just the greeting. In fact, let's pull that out. Just the greeting from this set. I haven't mounted anything else in here yet, so we'll be doing that later. So let's put everything to one side and pull in the first kit. So colour combo of the day. Crumb cake, soft suede, I've only used a teeny weeny bit of that. Evening evergreen, soft succulent and flirty flamingo. So a really fresh colour combo here. Loving the greens, loving the soft suede mixed with that. So let's lay those out ready. Need a little block for that one. Put that to one side. And let's see what we've got in here. So also using some of the craft cardstock, which you all know I adore. And I dread to say, but I've got another product coming in. This Handmade Tag. You've seen me use this so much, but I'm going to create another one of those tags with it. This is on a bundle with, let me just grab it off of my shelf, the Handmade Wishes stamp set, which you can use before Christmas. £35 for that bundle. That's amazing. And you know how much we love our punches. Put that one back on my shelf. Right, let us begin. Otherwise we are going to be here all day long. Okay, so my base is basic white. Bit of fluff there. You're going to have to excuse my nails. I've been picking blackcurrants. Gosh, don't they stain? Really, my nails are very porous anyway, but they sort of staining the skin underneath my nails and kind of can't get rid of it. And I hate to see nails that don't look very clean. Okay, so let's start with some stamping, and then we'll do the die cutting and then put everything together. Right, I've got so many bits and pieces, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Let's start with this piece here. Now, both of these bottle stamp sets are photopolymer, which I love. Love photopolymer because you can see where you're going. So that means we need to pull in our spongy mat just to give us that extra bit of sponginess. Looking at comments. Lucianne, you've been making some man cards. Oh, always a challenge, isn't it? Making those masculine projects. But I always find when you get a stamp set that you've chosen specifically for your man cards, choose your colour scheme, and then once you've got that, once you start rolling, I always find, like with anything, making that initial card to start off with is hard, but once you've got one design, I find everything else just evolves from that one card. Right, let's start with the bottle first. So on this first card, I've mounted up this tall bottle, and I should say we also sell these cute shaker domes. Look how small this box is. I was expecting a much bigger box to arrive, and I desperately want to play with these, but it's like one thing at a time. I have card kits everywhere. I've got card classes this week, an event on Saturday, and I've got kits everywhere. I've got packages to decorate. I've got orders over the desks down there that need to be packed and go out. So I will get a chance to play with these, hopefully at some point soon. So those are the shaker domes. How sweet will they look with one of these bottles with some flowers in? Right, for this one, I am going to use Soft Succulent. Now I have re-inked a lot of my inks at the moment. So this could be much darker than my original. So I'm going to ink that up. And we're going to pop this in the punch. So I'm going to do this at the bottom. Oh, it's much darker than my original, but that's good. This is, you know, the colour that it should be. And then we're literally going to pop that down in and punch it out. So how simple is that? I know we all love our punches. Right, what else do we need? Bit of stamping with this lovely big foliage. I'm going to do one of these and I'm going to chop into it. So And this is very dark. I've re-inked my Evening Evergreen. It's very dark, so we'll have one of, don't really need my mat for that, but I feel like I've got the shakes again today. I haven't had any breakfast. Could have done with applying a bit more pressure on that one, but it's totally fine. Then we need, this is from the Bottled Happiness. So in this set, you've got this duo, like two-step stamping for flowers and foliage, but we've also got this like lovely twiggy image for want of better words. I'm trying to think of what plant that kind of might look like. It's not really eucalyptus. And I'm going to stamp one of those in soft succulent. That might just fit down there. And I have to fussy cut that one out. There's nothing that goes with that one. So I need to cut that one out. There is no die that goes with this, so I have to fussy cut this one out. And I'm wondering whether that will leave me just enough room for something I have to die cut on there. Right, the other thing I need to do, oh, I've already got my piece. Already got my piece for die cutting, so I can stamp on here. Now, a little word of warning, if you order this stamp set, not this one, the Vintage Christmas. And by the way, this one is just £15. It's beautiful. This flower stamp here, I don't think mine has been made very well. And I will be contacting demonstrator support today just to give me some advice on this, because the etching you probably won't see, but in the center there, it's kind of almost as if it's not etched deep enough. So when you ink up, it's inking the middle. So I'm finding, especially because I've got a very inky stamp pad, I am literally just gently touching on the top, and I can see there is, can you see that bit of ink in the middle? Now, I meant to bring a cotton bud over so I could pull that off, but I'm going to stamp it down so you can see what happens. And I'm going to be not applying too much pressure. Now, that was okay. So can you see that's pretty perfect? But I'm going to show you on a little scrap. I can find a scrap. It's kind of the right size. That will do. Let's just go on the back of here. If I'd pressed any harder, can you see there's ink all the way on there? And if I press down firmly, oh, it hasn't done it. Can you believe that? Can you Adam and Eve that? It hasn't done it, but it's been giving me grief. I'm going to show you one that I did earlier. Maybe it's because my ink was too juicy, and that can be a very bad thing if your ink's too juicy. Can you see these little dots in between? They should not be there, okay? They should be 3 separate flowers like this. So if you have purchased this stamp set online through me, get in touch with me and we will get it sorted, because it shouldn't be doing that. And it could be that there's too much ink in my ink pad where it's been re-inked, or if you've got a new ink pad, but I still think that that centre part in between the flowers should be etched a bit lower. That's my personal feeling. But I am no stamp manufacturing expert, so we shall see. Right, these have to be fussy cuts. I've got another bit of stamping to do, and that's from the Celebrate with Tags. Do you remember I said I'm just using this one word here? And I want to stamp just the word celebrate, but I think from memory, if my memory serves me right, because I made these a little while ago, is that big enough? Yeah. I can just ink up the whole of my stamp and stamp it down. That seems like a waste of paper, but you'll see where we're going in a minute when we do a bit of die cutting. So that I've got a die cut, that I've got a die cut. Got to do a tag. I think we've got all our stamping done. Let's die cut these and die cut this. So I'm going to pull in, move those inks out of the way. Pull in my cutting plate. Oh, it's looking well loved, isn't it? I think I need to be changing this one soon. And I'm going to use this die here. Honestly, it's got that line down the middle, doesn't cut it. It's not two separate tags. That's actually a score line in the middle. So it folds over to make a gorgeous tag. So if you're thinking of like teacher gifts and any kind of gifts for all of your packaging, this set is going to be so useful. I want this heart, and I think that's all from here. I need one more bit of stamping to do as well. Oh no, I need this one. Okay, so that lovely little banner. So let's see if we can run this all through together. I'm going to line that pretty sure, so you can see it cuts on the inside of the die. So I'm pretty sure it won't interfere. Oh, I have no washi tape to hand. Let's use this useless washi tape that isn't very sticky. A bit hard to line that up. Let's stick this one down, because you know what happens, I pick it up and turn around and then it all moves. And then we'll pop the heart on as well. It's very quiet on here today. Children haven't broken up from school yet, have they? I guess you're all making the most of the good weather. Right, I think that's it for die cutting. Just looking at my original. Let's pop our top plate on and quickly run that through. And I know some of you like to catch up on the replay, which is good. And a lot of you catch up on YouTube as well, which is even better. My numbers are kind of growing really well over there. When you get little pieces like this, they're quite handy. Oh, here I am hoarding again. I'm encouraging you to hoard. They're quite handy for like centres of small flowers and things like that. So if I fold this, you can see how this becomes the cutest little double tag. Let's just pull this off. Save that bit. Remember, your negative pieces can always be very handy. Oops. And then finally, the word celebrate. And it's left behind, or we might just have a bit of the U there. Should have gone a little bit higher. Could keep that other word though. Might just have to snip. No, it's okay. I was thinking it's just showing there, but it doesn't really stand out. It's a little bit crooked for my liking, but we're not going to do it again. Got to stop being so fussy. So that's our die cutting. Honestly, you have so much fun with this set, but I only want half of this. So we've got another one left for another card. So we'll put that to one side. Let's do a little bit of stamping. Lucianne, they break up next Wednesday. And then Oscar will be going into juniors in September. I know, where does the time go? So Vivi, that's my eldest granddaughter. She's just 4. She'll be starting school in September. It's so scary where the time is going. Evsie will be starting nursery in September, and she is well ready for it. She's just 2. I say just 2, she was 2 in April, so she's just 2. A proper little chatterbox she is. They're away this week and I'm missing them. Missing them, they just bring so much joy. Right, just trimming that out. Save that bit because we might need it for something. Then we need, got a bottle. The other thing I needed to stamp on the bottled happiness. So this is why these two just go so well together, because you can mix and match bits and pieces from both of them. But we've got this label here that's designed to go on the front. We'll use that little scrap on the front of the bottle. And I want that one here, so it's really cute. It's got like a lined edge on it. I'll just use that little scrap. And we'll just trim that one out. So yeah, it's quite scary where the time is going. And we are just hitting, obviously, we're mid-July, early September, and Teddy will be 1. And that is super scary. Super scary. Just looking like there's a bit of a sharp edge on there. I know, where does the time go? Where does the time go? So, what do we need next? Let's fussy cut this one out. I need part of this one, and then we're going to save the other bit for the next card. So this one is from the Botanical Layers, and I always think like a foliage set, you're going to be kind of pulling it out of your stash all the time. This is such a great one. So looks very dark in the evergreen because I've re-inked it, but I guess that's kind of more what its true colour is. Well, my evergreen was starting to look like soft succulent when I was stamping with it, where it was getting, the ink was getting so dry. That's why I always say when you buy yourself a new ink pad, invest in the ink refill, because then you know you've always got it, and that ink pad is going to last you forever. I still have a lot of my original ink pads from when I joined Stampin' Up. We did change though, we went from felt to foam, so that's probably, I've got a couple of the felt ones, but mostly the old style foam, and I've only replaced them because I've wanted the new style to go in my Stampin' storage. But quite honestly, when you buy an ink pad, it's almost with you for life if you've got the ink refill. And they're just £3.50, so definitely worth getting. You can see I didn't quite apply enough pressure at the top there, but I'm not too bothered about that. Let's just trim around this one. Oops, I think I chopped the edge off of that. The birds are singing their heads off. Talking of birds, we had a bird in the house yesterday. So I'm always reluctant when I'm not over there to leave too many windows and doors open, because there's so much glass, they just come in. And then trying to get them out is a challenge, shall we say. But this little bird had flown in through the big double doors where the big window is in the middle of the barn. And he was kind of in the window trying to get out, sort of in the upstairs bit. So I went up the stairs and kind of, not scared it, but kind of shooed it back downstairs. And then it wasn't in for long, just a few minutes, and then it found its way back out through the door, thankfully. But it must be so scary for them. Right, I think we're ready to start putting together. Now, for this card, all I want on here is this little bit of foliage. I'm just going to trim a little bit closer around there, so I haven't got too much of that green bit. So we just got a bit of a smoother edge. And we'll put that to one side for the next card. Right, I've got a base card, I've got a strip of Flirty Flamingo, which is very bright for me, but I really do like it. It's a very kind of salmony pink, and this measures 3 3/4 by 2 inches. And then I've got a piece of our craft cardstock, and this measures 2.5, I think. 2.5 by 4 1/8, and I'm going to do that lovely trick with this punch that you've seen me do the last couple of weeks, where I'm just going to feed it into the back and line up with this second notch. Now, I don't really like using both sides of the cardstock when I'm punching, because you do get like an edge on it, but it's so much easier to hold the punch in my right hand because I'm right-handed. So I'm just going to flip the paper and I'm just feeding it in. Can you see this gap here? I'm just feeding it in. If you're joining, please do say hello. And I'm just lining in the edge of the card with that second notch down, pushing it up to the top, and then punching, and then we get a nice even punch on either side. And then just for the bottom, just to create a rounded corner, I'm just going to push it down into that semicircle and punch, and then that gives us this lovely tag shape. So very handy punch. I'm going to make a little marker where the center is, and then just use my crocodile or any hole punch you have just to create a little hole in the top. And then I've already die cut a little reinforcer. That's from the Tailor-Made Tags. Of course, if you've got this set, you've got a whole selection of tags ready to go. Very handy set, that one, and a real good price at just £20. And then we'll add just a teeny weeny. Now, when I say teeny weeny, Tombow, when it's hot, it likes to do an impression of a volcano. I'm sure those of you that use Tombow know exactly what I'm talking about. When it's warm, it just like continually comes out. So you have to keep an eye on it or keep the lid on. Right, the next thing I want to do with my tag is layer up with this little tag. So we're going to put that one straight down. On top of this tag, kind of roughly in the middle. My back is aching today. Like that. So we've just got a layered tag. And let's pop this one down first, and then we'll start building up our card. So on the Flirty Flamingo layer, I'm going to pop this one up just from the bottom, not too high. So what did you all get up to at the weekend? Jason was away car racing, so I stayed at home because I had my catalogue launch event on Saturday, which was lovely. Always lovely having ladies in the studio. Don't know why my live just ended on my Mac. Just refresh that. Yeah, it's always lovely having people here. We had a lovely morning, full-on morning. We had tea cakes and crumpets, some homemade raspberry jam that I'd picked the raspberries only last week and then popped them in the freezer and then made jam with them. I think it was last weekend before. So some nice fresh homemade jam. We had just a lovely morning, and we used this Bottled Happiness and the Vintage Christmas stamps. And we used, what else did we use? Splendid Thoughts. I'll show you it. Another foliage one. I shared this one not last week, week before maybe. So we used this gorgeous set as well. So yeah, we had a lovely morning. Lots of laughter, lots of fun. Right, I think we can pop this tag directly down onto our card. So I've got another class here on Thursday morning. Oh, Tombo's having a going to sleep moment. It's not too late if you want to come to that, but I need to know today. I've got 2 spaces. I need to know today so that I can cut your kits, because all the other kits are ready to go. So I'm just going to pop that one down in the middle. Quite a bit of white space on this card, so you could add more to it, and always think that, because I love white space. You may like to fill more in, or you know, you could have put another layer on the back, but I just like lots of white space on my cards. Just going to curl this one a little bit. Dimensionals are getting very low. Got another packet right by me. Pop a couple of dimensionals behind here, and we're going to pop this little wine bottle over to the left, and then add on, let's just curl that as well, add on the little label. This Tombow is getting low, and I never really know how high up to put this, but we're just going to put it there. Clean the end of this glue. Bit sticky. And then we'll add in our flowers. Now there is a centre for this flower. I did show you. It's in the Vintage Christmas, and it's this here. This is one stamp. I'll show you it. So it's all one stamp, but it's got fir cones on it, which don't really go with what I'm doing, because I'm not doing Christmas. So on my 3rd card, I am going to fill in the centres of the flowers with that stamp. But for this one, we're just going to add a bit of bling. And I'm just going to pop one lonely dimensional behind there. And put that one up there so it hides the hole in my tag. And then we'll layer up this lovely heart, which remember is from the same die set as this lovely tag, and we'll just pop that one over to the right. Add in our little celebrate, which is a bit crooked, but there we go. Bit of glue, we can do glue both sides. And we'll just pop that one down over this side, like that. Make sure it's stuck. Oops, it's alive. And then we'll pop under. May have to trim a bit of this. Let's trim some of that edge off, because it's not going to show and we don't need it. I think we'll pop a dimensional under there. I'm gonna have to get another sheet out of my packet. And we'll just wedge that, kind of coming out underneath our celebrate word. And then we'll add in this bit of deep green leafage, to sort of bring your eye. And that one I want to wedge under there, but I put so much glue under there, I'm not sure. Let's trim a bit off. Wasn't thinking about that. I did so much glue. We'll have it like that. So that's just coming under there. Because we're using craft, I love to use linen thread. Who loves our linen thread? It's just so natural, isn't it? And all I want to do, I'm not going to do a bow, I just want to do like a knot, but I'm going to do it double. So let's just double this up. So we've got 2 pieces. Oh, this will be a challenge. I've cut that quite short for tying a knot. And just pull it through. So quite a loose little knot. Might want to trim a bit off of there. And we'll take a glue dot for this. So you could use Tombow, but it's just going to take a moment to stick. Glue dot on the end of there. And we'll just pop that on there like that. So just to add like a bit of texture, something at the top of our card. And then to finish, I couldn't decide what sort of bling to use. And I think maybe on my second card, I might be using the opal rounds, but I quite liked the rhinestones for this one. So let's just pop a couple on. So remember, if you were to buy the Bottled Happiness bundle with the punch, which is 36, and then team it with the Vintage Christmas from the mini, 46, £51, that will earn you a free Celebration product. And there are some lovely ones to choose from. I am going to be using some of the papers on one of the cards. Medium. There's never enough medium size rhinestones or pearls. I always use those kind of first. And usually get left with the large ones. So I've just done like a little trio there. So quite a lot of white space. We could have done a bit of background with the blending brush. We could have done some splats, but quite a fresh card. I'm going to bring in my original so you can see the difference where an ink pad has been re-inked. So this is more of the true colour, whereas this one's looking a bit wishy-washy, but I don't mind both. But to get your true colour, you need that re-inker so that it stays at its best. Okay, what's next? Let's bring in another kit. Oh, I did use the opal rounds on this one. Right, on this card, I've pulled in some papers from the In Colours. These are the new In Colours. You can see I've used all of the Orchid Oasis. These are a fab set of papers to get. They're 6x6, as you can see. They've just got patterns on, so they're very, very usable. And on, this is Sweet Sorbet, which is like a ready ready salmony colour. But on the check pattern, it's very flirty flamingo-y. So I've chosen that side for my card today. And we've got some layers in here. Let's just fold this base. And then I can give you some measurements. So 5 3/4 by 8 1/4 is my usual base measurement. I've got a layer of flirty flamingo, which is 3 inches by 4.5 inches. And then my strip of pattern paper is 3.5 inches by 1.5. I've got some scraps here for doing some stamping on. Let's bring back in the mat and get stuck in with some stamping. I think I've chosen that one to do my bottle on. So let's just pull in the soft succulent. Try not to waste any. I do love as well that you can get, like, when you re-ink an ink pad, I always use a block. So I drop my droplets of ink on and then I use a block on each, turn it around and kind of pull in the ink. Obviously then you've got to give your block a good clean because you've got ink all over it. But you still do get like a patchiness on your ink. So you probably at that point could apply a little bit more to kind of make it more even. But can you see, particularly for this like bottle, how it looks kind of a bit patchy? And I quite like that look. Right, we're going to punch that one out. Have I got any more bits I've got one of these down which I can cut out as well because I need one of those. I also want to ink up this kind of shorter bottle as well, which I really, really love. And I'm going to do that one in Evening Evergreen. I just love, I mean, how amazing is that? Just like where they've, whoops, oh, in the ink, where they've made the white, you know, shadowing coming in, makes it look so effective. Need another flower, so I think I will use this one. I've already got my leftover bit of foliage from last time. What else have I got? Let's cut out ready. I'm gonna have another one of those. Save me cutting out. That one's quite faded, but I don't mind that. I think that's it, apart from our celebrate word again. So let's chop that one out because we're going to fussy cut that. This one is going in the punch, so let's cut that one out. You do also have in the set, which is really sweet, a little cork. So I haven't inked up this stamp yet, but you've got a little cork that goes inside, which is really cute as well. So let's just punch the bottle out to start with. So lovely and crisp. And then we want that word celebrate again. So I think what I'm going to do this time is just use this scrap up here. So that's just in Flirty Flamingo. So we need to die cut that one. We're going to use the other end of that tag as well. So that's why it's always, I always recommend, if you're going to cut something like this that's sort of double-ended, cut both in one go, and then you're always left with the piece that you can use on something else. So let's chop around these very quickly. Really easy to cut around. Even that little, the other little bottle is very easy to cut around. I was listening in on being of a certain title with Stampin' Up. I get to attend leaders meetings and things, and we have a leaders update every Monday night, and I never normally catch it live, just doing round these flowers. So I've just watched back the replay before while I was getting things ready for this morning, and I'm not allowed to tell you anything, but I am going to say we've got some extra new products coming in September, coming in August as a demonstrator. I cannot say any more. That's a total tease, isn't it? But there's just always exciting stuff. It's great being a demonstrator, honestly. And don't forget, we've got the celebration promotion for July and August. So when you join, you get a free, lovely gift. Get that lovely planner and stamp set and extra bits. Let's chop this one as well. So as I've said, these bottles make great kind of masculine cards. I'd probably be inclined not to fill them with flowers, but if you filled them with foliage, that would pass for a man card, I would say. But yeah, I just feel there's lots happening at the moment. We feel like we've not long had an annual catalogue go live. Now we've had like our seasonal catalogue, the mini catalogue, go live. So there is a lot going on. And as I've said, you've heard me say that it's a little bit too early for me to go headfirst into, I'm going to cut this one out, headfirst into Christmas. So although I have scheduled in a date for a Christmas stamper stack in September, so I'll be sharing that soon. But I know you girls who were with me on Saturday, you were all asking, and it will be a case of first come, first to book, first spaces we'll go to. Just cut this one out quickly. But obviously if it's popular, then I will run on different days. And there will be more. Obviously there will be more in October. Have my retreat, my weekend retreat in October. And in fact, I do have a couple of spaces for that, if anyone is interested. I don't even know if I've got it on my events website, because it usually people rebook who have been previously, so I tend not to advertise it too much. Okay, so we've got our greeting, we've got our bottles, we've got some foliage, we've got some flowers. Let's start sticking together. This one's going to come together quite quickly. So we've got our base, then we're going to pop down our Flirty Flamingo layer. This is such a fun colour, and even though it kind of is bright, I love it. I can cope with this colour because I'm teaming it with loads of green, and I love my greens. I've got a green dress on today. Sophie bought me this dress actually. It's very pretty and it's very cooling. And then we're going to pop down this lovely, it's actually sweet sorbet, but the paler colour they've put in there is very Flirty Flamingo-esque. So we'll just lay that one down just up from the bottom, trying to get it straight and then having an even overhang. Good morning, Zana, how are you doing? Yeah, if you're hopping in, you can obviously come back and watch the beginning. We're using Bottled Happiness and Vintage Christmas. So you love doing man cards. I don't mind doing them. I just find them harder work. I think creating for females is just so much easier. Is that ink on there or just something off of my cutting plates? Let's pop this tag down. Yeah, it's not like I dislike creating for men. I just find it harder. It's much more of a challenge. Doesn't come as easy as it does creating pretty things, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree. Right, is that straight? Do you care? Probably not really, but I like things to be straight. Right, let's just give these a little bit of a curl. I always like to do this. I know by the time if it's gone in the post, it gets completely squished, but let's get some more dimensionals out. I've got a packet here that ready because I knew I was going to be running out. But of course I've still got all of the edge, I've got a couple of here and one here. Got all of the edge pieces to use on here. So never throw this bit away. This is very, very useful. So Zana, you had 4 brothers, oh bless you. So, or you have had 4 brothers. Yeah, lots of masculine creating going on from your end then. So we're just going to lay down these bottles. Gonna add this one, just giving it a bit of a curl on the top. Like that. And there is a cute little stamp. Is that on there? Bit of glue. That sits nicely in here, in the bottled habit. Well, there's a couple. There's Sending Chia and Why Not. They sit lovely inside that little label if you stamp them in there. Okay. Always hard starting a new pack of dimensionals, but once you've got in there, it's okay. So pull off the backs. And then we'll pop that one just next door. Oh, I needed this one to go over a bit. I wonder if it's too late for it to come up. No. Oop, if you pull gently, you won't lose the stickiness. Just wanted to move that over a smidge. And then we'll pop that one next door to it. Just a bit lower. That's better. So we're just layering these bottles. And then we'll add in our flour. And we're going to hide that again. So I'm going to strategically place it just over the top of that tag. And then what do I need on here? I don't think I need all of this foliage. Let's chop off that, and we can use that definitely for something else. Tractors are going up and down the lane at the minute. I'm not sure what they're up to. But it's been quite busy, and we're just going to wedge this one under here like that. I think I'm just going to pop, for ease of knowing where to put Tombow, I think I'm just going to pop a dimensional there that will just hold it in place. That will do nicely. So just a bit of foliage coming out of there. Then this one can go in the other pot. You're using the stamp set He's the Man for wedding favours. In it for the long haul. Bride's car is a camper van. Oh, perfect. Perfect. You need the tree stamp and dies with the celebration papers as her table's decorations are going onto the sliced logs. Oh yes, that is such a gorgeous set. So people know what we're talking about. I will find it. So these are the dies with the log slices. I think I showed you this last time. And it's bang on the right page. Look at that shaker dome with those lovely gems inside of the stamp we're using today. So we'll just pop this one under as well. Like that. Add in our greeting. Might just want, because it's going to hang over the edge of the bottle, we'll pop a dimensional on that side. And then a little bit of Tombow on this side. We'll just hang it off the edge of that bottle down there. Line it in straight. And then for this one, shall we use the opal rounds? Or shall I team it and keep it? I'll keep it uniform with my other card and we'll use these, but I'll show you obviously what it looks like with the opal rounds, because they are beautiful and they've kind of got like a pink tinge to them. What did I do on my last one? Large or small? Pop one there. Maybe we'll use another large because it sits nicely in there. And we'll call that one done. So, love the bit of bling in my original. Oh, I'm getting lots of things cluttering up beside me. Look at these opal rounds. They've kind of got like a pink tinge to them, glittery. So, not sure which I prefer. I like them both. You could also still stamp on that, even though you've got celebrate, you could still have why not, or celebrate and then put sending cheer. So there we go. You could even write your own something on that label as well. So second card done. One more to do. How are we doing for time? 10:30. Yes, 10:30. been going an hour. That's not too bad. Right, final card. I thought I'd pull in a bit of celebration goodness. So I was talking to you about if you buy the bundle and then buy the vintage Christmas set, you could earn yourself a free celebration item. And I've pulled in this silver and gold speciality paper. So you will find it amongst all these free goodies. Let's put those back. There's those tree dies, and they come with an embossing. They're hybrid. Oops, they're hybrid, so they come with an embossing folder. But look at the stamp. We are wood lovers in this house. Shared the cards and envelopes with you last week, but this paper is here. It's on page 10 of the celebration brochure. You get 24 sheets here, and you've got 2 designs, 12 each of 2 designs. Okay, so there's 2 different designs, but they are in gold and silver foil. Let's show them. I don't know if I showed you them last time. There's quite a lot in here. You're going to find a lot of use for them. And so we've got the gold kind of wavy line. They're only single-sided. And then we've got the gold spot. And then the silver line and the silver spot. But they don't have to stay white. You could use a blending brush to add colour. You could use a spritzer. You can do whatever you like to colour these in. Let's put these back in. Otherwise I'm probably just going to get ink on them. But yeah, 24 lovely sheets in that pack for free when you spend a minimum of £45. Okay, so white card base yet again. Fold it in half. Zana, it's harder to use traditional ladies stamps for men. Yes, of course, because we do have like a lot of florals and things. But I think like that wood grain and embossing folders as well. So like the wood grain and the brick wall, they're really good for masculine cards. And just add in, you know, say one of these bottles with a bit of foliage coming out. Hey presto, there you go, masculine card, done and dusted. Right, I've also got a layer of soft succulent, and this measures 4 inches. Can't remember what this one is, by 4.5. Okay, so it sits just inside the width of my card. Then a strip of Evening Evergreen, which is the same 4 inches by 1.5 inches. So those are the only measured pieces I'm using. And then I've cut a strip of the silver paper, and this measures 4.25 by 2 inches. Okay, so you'll get 3 of these pieces from one sheet, and then obviously the strip along the bottom. And I think I've done quite a bit of the stamping and fussy cutting on this one, because I was aware that I'm going to be doing 3 cards for you this morning. I've got a little bit of stamping to do, and I'm not seeing my stamp. Let's just clean one off. And I wanted for this one to use this lovely bit of foliage. So let's put that one back away. I do not like leaving stray stamps or dies anywhere. Once I've finished with it, if it's not on a block, then it goes back in its box, because that's, guys, how you lose things, okay? You need to keep track of everything around you, because, you know, I'm just creating 3 cards here, and I've got quite a few stamps around me. I've got inks everywhere. I've got punches. I've got all my tools that I'm using. Things easily go astray and accidentally go in the bin without realising. We've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there. Right, let's do a bit of die cutting first. And I was going to show you a little tip as well. Little trick. Well, it's not really a trick. So what I want to do, firstly, is bring back in the celebrations tags, and I've cut my strip of cardstock to fit. So I'm going to cut myself one of those first. Now I just want to gently bend it that way so it's not curving up the other way. And we're going to stick that one down just so it doesn't move. And run that one through first. So this set would work lovely in the mini cutting machine. Let me just check the other die actually. Does it say, let's have a look. Where are you? Page 72. Here. I thought it said on here whether it goes through the mini cutting machine. Maybe I'm just missing something. I don't know, maybe I am. I thought we used to have something which said if it worked with the mini cutting machine, but if I bring in a plate, obviously that one does, and the other one will as well. It was this one, I was just wondering if it was too wide, but it's actually too long. So maybe not the greatest of recommendations. You could do it in 2 cuts, but not ideal. So let's dismiss that thought. Maybe not the best if you're wanting to use it on your mini. Good if you're only cutting half of one at a time. Now the other thing I want to do, I love a scallop. Does anybody else love a scallop? What I'm going to do, I'm not going to waste all of that because we don't need to. And we could like get a couple of hearts or something out of that bit. Let's just give it a gentle curve. And then this one as well. And I'm going to cut. Are you all in shot? Stick those down. Actually, I don't know if I need that much. My brain has stopped working for a minute. Where's my other bit of washi? Helicopter going over. So I'm just taping that down just to cut these end pieces of the scallops. Let's put that top plate on. And it just moved. It won't hurt if they're a bit crooked. It's quite a long die to run through, that one. But we just end up with that. You know I love a scallop edge. It just adds something extra to something that could be quite plain. You've stuck around the back. So we've got 2 little scallopy edges. Let's put that back. We only want one of these. Where's the line? Save the other one for a future project. And then what I want to do with these 2 pieces, I do probably have to do, let's remind myself, I'm going to stick these 2 together and then I want to border this bit. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming. So I'm just going to pop some Tombow on, line the scallops on a line, add that one, and then make sure those are on the line as well, so that we know it's straight. Then we're going to make sure it's not stuck to my grid paper, run some Tombow along here. That was a bit close to the edge. A bit of Tombow trying to get out, and then just stick that evergreen layer over the top. My tummy is talking to me. I've not had breakfast yet today, which is very, very unusual, but just feel it. I don't know whether it's the weather where it's a bit hot, or it's just feeling like I'm not really that hungry to eat. Now you could just snip this off like this, which maybe I'll do. This end is easier because you've got this end to follow to get a good cut. I guess you could go from the back, but when you're cutting, you could like butt your scissor up there and cut like that so that you get that straight. But quite often it's tempting and it cuts at an angle. If we do it from the reverse, we've kind of got this edge to like butt our scissors along to, so that we know we're kind of cutting straight. That's just me being fussy because I like things to be straight. Probably it would be a good idea just to pop it in your trimmer and trim that end off, and then you know it will be straight. So we've got our little scallopy border made from that tag, which I absolutely love. We've got, oh, I need to do one flower for you because I wanted to show you the centre. I won't cut it out though because I've already done them, but let's find some scraps. It's a bit of, is that just glue? Yeah. Let's pull in our mat. And I wanted to show you this one, how it lines up with the centre. And there are different ways of doing this, but let's start with our flower first. I'm going to ink up this flower really gently, remember, because my stamp is picking up. I'm going to do a couple of these. The ink from the middle of my stamp. So I'm actually hardly applying. That wasn't enough pressure because I can see hadn't inked it properly. Hardly any pressure when I'm stamping it down onto the ink pad and when I'm stamping it down onto my cardstock. I'm going to do another one just for luck because I find this pretty hard to line up. Okay, so I've got all the flowers facing the same way. Now you can see here we've got this image, this one and this one. These are the centres of these flowers, and then we've got 3 fir cones, pine cones, whatever you like to call them, on the outside. Now if you had a marker pen that worked properly, you could just go ahead and colour in these stamps like this. Okay, but this, I'll show you, it's not working the best. Can you see? It's very old and I need to replace a lot of my Stampin' Right markers because I've had them since day dot. Okay, I bought the complete collection and a lot of them are running dry, so which, you know, a felt tip pen will do over time. But what we're going to do is actually ink the whole thing up. I need my soft suede. I chose soft suede because it was quite deep. For this purpose, we're just going to ink the whole thing up. And then I'm going to pull out a wet wipe and I'm going to wipe off, because they're on the outside, the 3 fir cones. I'm going to take the, might have just touched the flower, take the ink off, and then I want the largest flower centre to be at the bottom and then the 2 at the right. And this is really hard. I find it hard to line them in perfectly. And because we're fussy cutting, it doesn't really matter. See, that wasn't perfect, but it's okay. Right, I'm going to do another one, the same as I've just done. So I'm inking it up, grabbing a wet wipe, and then I'm just going to pull off the ink from the 3 fir cones on the outside, so very carefully. And we'll have another go at lining this in. It's hard to see through. You're lining up all 3 flower centres at the same time. That was even worse. But do you know what? Anything goes. And then I just wanted to show you what it's like if you ink it all up, but we may lose a fir cone off the edge. No, we'll be all right. So let's just stamp that down. But how pretty is it with the fir cone? So imagine this, it was totally off center, but imagine if this was a Christmas flower. How pretty would that be? So I just wanted to show you how that works. Now, I've already cut some of these out ready just to save time because I'm doing 3 cards. Move that ink out of the way. So I've got a couple that I did earlier, which are slightly more central. You know, it doesn't matter. Things don't have to be completely lined up. Nobody's going to complain at you. And I've also stamped myself a message from the Bottled Happiness. So it's this one here, sending a little message. And I've die cut it with this die here, this lovely stitched circle. Okay, so I've just cut that one out. Have I done it with that one? It looks different. Maybe I haven't. No, now I'm telling fibs. Let's cut one so you can see what it looks like. I thought for a minute I had, but I used the beautiful shapes, or stylish shapes, looking at it. Now it's just moved. Don't move. And I can tell because this one has a dash. It's got a dashed edge, whereas this one has a dot. But because it's photopolymer, we can just go ahead and stamp that greeting again, because I would rather use this die because then it all connects. We're not using an extra set. So let's pull back in our mat, ink that one in evergreen, and because it's photopolymer, we can just stamp straight down because we can see where we're going, like that. Okay. And then we can start assembling. So we're going to start off with our base. I'm going to pop these 2 on, but I want to put these 2 together first, just to make sure they are still exactly the same size. But we need to remember to put this one down first. So add some Tombow on the back of there. I'm going to pop it over to the left side of this soft succulent layer with an even gap at the top and the bottom. And then we'll pop more glue on the back of this layer and add that over the top. And then just make sure that there's no overhang on either edge. Trying to get it straight. Alfred's having a good old shake. Not eating his breakfast yet today. Maybe he's too hot as well. Okay, so we've just layered those up and then we're going to pop that straight down onto our card. Oops, right on the grid paper. I think I need to eat now. I think I'm getting like the dropsies, so I think I'm ready for breakfast. I'm not sure what I'm going to have. It definitely will be some kind of toast, but I've got sourdough and I've got some crumpets left over from the weekend, but it definitely will have to have jam on it. So I've just layered those up. You cannot really notice the join on the scallop. And then we're going to take the tag and pop that one down next. Such a handy die, this one. Just lay that over this side. So no bottles on this one. I wanted you to see that despite looking at these and seeing the bottles, you've got so many other bits that you can use. I mean, when Christmas cards come, this one will be great, but always look around your stamps and your dies to see what else you can do with them other than what they are kind of like, what you're immediately drawn to. You know, the eye draws you to the bottles. And then you think, how many things can I do with a bottle? I mean, there are lots of creative projects you could do. This one we're going to pop somewhere in the middle-ish. But always look at the other elements. It's usually the small little elements that make a stamp set stretch. I've just realised I need to stamp one more thing. And it's that little one that I pulled out, and it's not, oh, say it's not jumping at me, it's right by me. So we just want one of these in soft succulent. Let's do it that way and we'll probably save a bit of cardstock. So pretty, and this one is actually designed to sit behind this flower. So you could actually stamp those together and cut them out as one. Honestly, both of these are such great value. You're gonna have to watch me trim this. I don't think I've got one done. Yeah, such great value sets that they're kind of those sets you're gonna pull out on multi-occasions. Quickly trim around. You know I love a bit of fussy cutting. I don't know why that is. I can just cut for ages until my thumb starts hurting. I know some of you dislike cutting, and I know some of you find it hard to cut because maybe you're a bit arthritic or you struggle, so it's not for everybody. So we've just trimmed that one out. Give those a little curl under. And we'll start with, oh, I've already done that one ahead of time as well. We'll start with these flowers. Give them both a little bit of a curl. Very, very quiet on here today. What are you all up to? Let me know when you come back. Please, if you are joining me on the replay here, in the comments type a hashtag replay, and then I know that you've been back to watch. I'm going to pop one over this side. We'll be hiding that tag, so don't worry about that. Maybe I'll put my foliage in first, thinking about it. How much of this do I need? I think I'm going to chop off this bottom section, because that's those two little ones. I can use those again. Just curl these under. A little bit of Tombow. And we'll just pop those under there. And then add in a flower. Add in another flower. So the foliage in this set is equally as important as the bottles. You're going to get a lot of use from them. Pop a little dimensional behind there. Just a little dot of Tombow to anchor it down, and then that will slide and fit nicely under those flowers. And then I thought to finish, because we had the silver foil in here, rather than using the baker's twine, I would pull out the silver, what is this actually called? Trim. Silver trim. It comes with a gold reel as well. And we're just going to tie ourselves a little bow. Right, you've got to pull this really tight, pinch in the middle, and pull the opposite tails of each loop. Just trim that fluffy edge off. Mini glue dot, I'm getting near to the end of my roll. And we'll just roll that one up. They don't like the heat either, really. They just get too sticky. See, they just stick to everything when it's warm. And then we'll pop our little bow just down there to kind of tie in with the silver. I mean, any of these cards would look nice with the gold as well. Let's do up these ink pads because they make me very nervous with all these white card bases around. And you have seen me drop my cards at the end of a live right into the ink pads. So it's always safe to do them up or get them out of the way before we start bringing everything back in. So really, really lovely colour combo. I've really enjoyed using that. You know I love soft succulent and even in the green. So we've got a whole host of cards to share with you. Should pull out really too many cards to look at otherwise. So Teaming, the Vintage Christmas and the Bottled Happiness set using the lovely vintage bottle punch. Bringing in a bit of foliage from the Botanical Layers set and then using the dies from the Celebrations tags. So which are very, very usable. Love the balloon and love those candles. So very, very like non-seasonal dies that can be used for Christmas and the everyday. So I hope you've enjoyed my projects today. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions about anything. If you want to place an order online, it's quite straightforward. You need to create yourself an account with me if you haven't done so. And you can have the products delivered direct to your door. If you're local, I'm placing an order later today, so you can add on anything and you can collect it from me. That will save you the actual shipping from our European warehouse. If you are placing an order online, please, if it's over £30, please do use my host code and you will get a little gift in the post along with a hand stamped card next month. So that's always fun to receive. So I don't think I need to share anything else with you. I've shown you in the catalogue what I've been using. What else is happening? Apart from Celebration, of course, do not miss out on this. There are some fabulous items in here and they are available while supplies last. Always remember that. If something is uber popular and it sells out, there won't be a replacement of stock. Okay, so don't forget that. Remember that joining is a great way to get started with our products. For just £99, choose £130 a product. We have a free gift at the moment, which is this beautiful planner, and it comes with a stamp set as well, and you get some notebooks. That is gorgeous, a great reason to join, just to get that lovely planner. But you're also becoming part of an amazing community. So please do get in touch if you've got questions about that. Right, my stomach is telling me that it's time to depart and go and grab myself some breakfast. It's now 11 o'clock, so been on waffling for an hour and a half. Thank you so much for those that have joined me live. And I hope you enjoy if you're watching on the replay, and I'll be back with you all very, very soon. So bye for now.